At the end of World War II, a young Jewish soldier in the US Army found himself marching through Western Europe, liberating towns and villages that were in German control. At one point, Winiger's unit was assigned to a small German village with orders to secure the town, search for any hiding Nazis, and help the villagers in any way that they could possibly need. One night, out on patrol, Winiger saw a slim figure running through the field just outside the village. He gave chase and shouted, "Stop, or I'll shoot." The figure ducked behind a tree. Winiger waited, and eventually the figure came out and looked around to see if he was still being pursued. Figuring that the soldier was no longer nearby, he went to a spot near a large tree and started to dig. Winiger waited until the figure had finished digging and removed an object from the ditch. Then he was once more on the move. Winiger stepped out from a nearby patch and said, "Stop, or I'll shoot." The figure ran. Winiger decided not to shoot, but rather to try and catch the figure. He soon caught up with him and tackled him to the ground. To his surprise, he found that he'd captured a young boy with a beautiful menorah in his hand. The menorah fell to the ground, and Winiger picked up the menorah. The boy tried to grab it back, shouting, "Give it back to me, it's mine." Winiger assured the boy, "Don't worry, I'm one of your friends. Furthermore, I'm actually Jewish as well." This boy, who had just survived several years of the Holocaust, had been in a concentration camp and was distrustful of any man in a uniform. He had been forced to watch the shooting of his father, and he had no idea whatever had become of his mother. Winiger calmed down the boy, brought him back to his barrack, and in the weeks that followed, he took the young boy, whose names were Dovid, under his wing. As they became closer and closer, Winiger's heart went out to the young boy. He had lost everything in the war and needed a stable home in which to grow up. The soldier offered Dovid the opportunity to come back with him to New York after his duty was finished, and Dovid gladly accepted. Winiger went through the necessary paperwork and eventually adopted Dovid. After the war, Winiger settled down and became an active member of the New York Jewish community, and one of his acquaintances was actually working in the Jewish Museum, and he took a look one day at Dovid's menorah and he said, "This is gorgeous. This has to be for everyone. It's worth a fortune." And he offered Dovid $50,000 for the menorah. Dovid refused. Generous offer, but he said, "No. This menorah has been in my family for over 200 years. There's no amount of money that would ever make him sell it." That year, when Chanukah came, Dovid and his newly adopted father lit the menorah in the window of their home in New York City. The candles burned bright, and for Dovid it was a memory of his family and everything they represented of happier times. They watched the menorah burn. Eventually Dovid went to his room. Winiger remained by the candles. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Winiger went to answer it, and standing by the door, he found a woman with a very strong German accent who said she was walking down the street and she saw this menorah in the window. She said, "We once had a menorah just like that in our family, and she had never seen anything like it. Could she take a closer look?" Winiger invited her inside and said that the menorah belonged to his adopted son, and perhaps he could come downstairs and tell her more about it. Winiger went upstairs and called Dovid from his room to talk to the woman. Dovid walked down the steps, stopped, and screamed, "Mama!" And he couldn't believe it. He ran into her arms. The mother that he had no idea anything about was standing in front of him. They embraced. The menorah represented that incredible time when they reunited. When it comes to the Yom Tov of Chanukah, what an opportunity, what warmth we see within the candles. But more than that, it represents that we reunite. We reunite with our Creator. We connect back with the Rabbeinu Shalom. We light the candle within the darkness, in the midst of the winter, and we say, "Rabbeinu Shalom, we're looking for your connection." We remember the Nisim. We remember the tremendous miracles that you gave to us. And now we want that connection. We want that warmth. We want to be embraced once again by the Ribbono Shel Olam. A freilichen Chanukah.
To listen to more by Rabbi Avi Wiesenfeld, visit